SoCal5.com. We're just having our own conversation in the car here, so we thought we'd
include you guys in on it too.
Yeah.
So
you want to tell them what we're talking about?
we are just talking about just living life, like what type of life do you want to live as a family,
Well, for a little context, we're on our way to South Dakota right now for a Republican conference thing.
retreat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we are taking our kids out here in April. So we're also going to kind of scout out what we're going to do as a family. So we were talking about one of our goals is to take our kids to all 50 states as part of our home educating them, so that they can really experience everything that America has to offer, all the different landscapes, the different cultures, the different, like especially the East Coast, and just letting them see everything and experience that so that they have some sort of context for the knowledge that they learn in school. So with that, we were just kind of discussing a lot of the choices that we've made in our lives and how it's really freed us up and afforded us to be able to do everything we want to do. And then also talking about how other people can absolutely do the exact same thing we're doing, but what kind of makes people hesitant. So that's kind of what we were talking about.
Okay. So as a husband, a father, during a period in my life where I literally had to think about what was important to me, and as far as the lifestyle goes, and how I wanted my family to function, and how I wanted us to live. And to me, that I really want my kids to experience life as to traveling and seeing places, and I wanted them to also have education, such as the academic part of it, but also the experience part of it. So whether that means for us to read about Mount Rushmore and then also going to go see it and be there and like experience and take all of that in, that was very important to me. That was something that I value high above even the job that I was going to take. So because at the end of the day, my family needs food, shelter, clothing. Okay, those are their basic need. It needs to happen, and I get that, and I fully understand that. But that wouldn't be the focal point of our family function. That is not. So understanding that, I needed to sit down with my wife and just talk about it. Like, hey, I want this and this and this and that. And she was like, that is a great idea. That is a terrible idea. Or we talked about it, and both of us agreed upon the lifestyle that we are going to have. So to us, that is very important. And why not do it? Why not live the quality of life that you want versus looking back later on, wishing that you had done more.
Yeah.
So that's what we are doing. So we are heading to Rapid City, Black Hills, and we are going to scout out the area and after the conference, and we are going to plan. The goal also is for us to head more out west to Yellowstone and Glacier National Park, and because these are all of the places that my kids have read about, it will be nice for them to be able to go and see it and experience it, because it's going to give them a lot more context into a life, and they will learn so much more by having a complete roundabout understanding understanding of this place because they have read about it, but then they have also been there.
Yeah.
So that's what learning is about, and that's what learning does to you.
Yeah, and then like a lot of the decisions that we've made, you know, like we want to have a big family with a lot of kids. And we've always kind of wrestled with how can we best afford all these kids with the lifestyle that we want, you know. And then our kids have a lot of food allergies, so groceries is probably our largest expense. But we just play around with, you know, like we owned a house, we sold our house, and now we're temporarily in an apartment, and we're really enjoying it. Like we don't mind living in a small space, because we're a really close-knit family anyways. And so kind of wrestling with that, do we build another house? Do we get another house? Like when? What do we do? And, you know, how much money could we save if we stayed here? You know, like wrestling with those kinds of things. And then like when my husband chose to start up his own business, like that was something that we kind of always wanted to do. And, you know, when you're fresh out of school, because he went to school, how many years ago?
Probably about 3-4 years ago.
So most people say you can't start your business till you're in the field X amount of years, right? And that logic just didn't make sense, so we just did it. And it's been going great. Like, I think just kind of breaking out of those molds that things have to be done a certain way. Like, you don't have to spend a ton of money on feeding your kids, clothing your kids, like educating your kids. A lot of this stuff is actually pretty cheap. If you can do it right, you know? So, I don't know. We just decide what we want to do and we just go do it and make it work. And I think it really does help, though, that we are very like-minded on a lot of stuff. Like, we're very adventurous. We're very, like, we want to plan. We're always kind of like, what could we do better? What could we do next? You know, very content with where we are in life, but always wanting to improve. And so our kids have that mentality too. And they're up for adventures. They love adventures. But yeah, so
the comfort for us is that at the end of the day, what is going to stick with our kids, you know? What is going to really stick in their minds and their hearts, such as the memories they will have, which will be with them forever. You know, is it going to be that daddy worked all of these jobs and all these hours to feed us and to clothe us and this and that, and to get us this, you know? And no, I mean, our kids do not even talk about that. They don't have to talk about that because that is my responsibility as a father to provide them with those things.
In the same token, they have seen how hard
I have worked.
We have worked to get in the position that we're in.
Yep.
Like, he went to full-time school, full-time work, full-time ministry, and was still present with his family. And even last year, ran for office, worked his own business, like, did it all flawlessly without it even, like, hurting our time together. So, not that we're not building them a work ethic, because they absolutely see how ridiculously hard we work.
They also work hard because we also require them to work hard at home. So, yes, they absolutely have the understanding of what it is.
But they have the context, and they know that whatever they want to do, if they put their heart on it and they work hard towards it, they can absolutely 100% do it. Because that's everything we've ever done is, hey, we have this idea and this goal, here's what we need to do to get there, and we all as a family work our butts off to get there. You know, like even this trip we're planning here in April, you know, like one of the ways that we're able to afford these trips, we don't spend a lot of money on these trips. Like, we skimp out on the things that aren't important to us, and then we pour money into the things that are. Like, for us, we like to go out to eat, and so a lot of the money that we spend is getting food at restaurants maybe once or twice a day. But we don't go out for breakfast because we just snack. Typically, we don't go out for lunches, but we want to do things like museums. We typically don't rent rent hotels when we travel.
Yeah, because that takes money. A
Yeah,
lot
we
of money.
either
so-
like camp or do like a cabin or stay with people that we know in the area. Any way that we can cut back on costs so we can use that money in areas that we want to. Like, we want to go to these museums. We want to go on train rides through the mountains and, you know, do things that you normally, the expensive things, we just cut costs elsewhere so that we can do those fun, expensive things. And if you watched our video from our last vacation, you'll see all the different weird places that we stayed and the different things that we did and how we made it work. And it really only cost us a couple $1,000s total.
Yep.
All the museums, all the things we did, all the food we ate, all the souvenirs we bought, everything we did. We cut coupons, we planned, we cut costs here and there and in different places so that we could do what we wanted to do. Yeah. So
Yep.
I think that's pretty much it.
Pretty much it.
So we would just encourage you guys, if you have something on your heart that the Lord, a vision that He's given you for your job, for ministry, for your family, for how you home educate your kids, we would just encourage you to go for it and to sit down and pray it over. And don't let fear hold you back. Don't let any sort of like, this is the way it's supposed to be, hold you back. If God's called you to do it, just go do it. I mean, that's part of life, is you'll figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
And there's risk. There's risk in everything. But where there's big risk, there's big reward. There is. So yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
So God bless.